Today I'll be discussing the similarities and differences between the protagonists of Eraserhead and Blue Velvet, Henry Spencer and Jeffrey Beaumont. Both characters are deeply inspired by David Lynch's own life and personality, but they represent very different sides of him. As Kyle MacLachlan, Lynch's longtime collaborator, once put it, David is good at taking the issues in his own life and making them a part of his art, and it's amazing how emotionally candid he is in his work. Lynch said, "I do see a lot of myself in Jeffrey, and I identified with Henry in Eraserhead too. Both of these characters are confused about the world." Henry Spencer, played by Jack Nance, is a grown man trapped in an urban hellscape. He is timid, repressed, and overwhelmed by responsibility. Lynch has described his years living in Philadelphia as some of the darkest of his life, Philly being the uncaring urban environment that inspired much of his early work, such as this. Every moment of Henry's life feels like a nightmare, from his neurotic girlfriend, to the monstrous child he doesn't want, to the factory where his head is turned into erasers. The only glimpse of hope comes from the lady in the radiator, who represents a kind of angelic release from his suffering. In my personal interpretation, I see her as a representation of death. Henry has died, consumed by the suffocating city around him, but it is a release. Henry reflects Lynch's darker, more nervous alter ego. His confusion is rooted in fear of responsibility, fear of people, fear of his environment. Jeffrey Beaumont, on the other hand, is the complete opposite of Henry. He's a college student returning home to Lumberton to visit his sick father. Jeffrey is outgoing, social, and curious. Jeffrey's life changes when he discovers a severed ear in a field. This discovery draws him into the town's criminal underworld, much like Orpheus descending into the underworld in Greek myth. Unlike Henry, Jeffrey isn't terrified of what he uncovers, instead seeking out mystery. His voyeurism, his curiosity, and his sense of justice drive him deeper into danger until he finally faces Frank and kills him. Jeffrey represents Lynch's Boy Scout alter ego, characterized by his optimism, righteousness, and responsibility, but he also embodies Lynch's fascination with voyeurism and his belief that evil lies just beneath the surface of average suburbia. Henry is passive, scared of responsibility, and trapped in a hostile world. His personality comes from fear and repression. Jeffrey, on the other hand, is active, curious, and willing to confront evil directly. He is social, outgoing, and funny. Henry being the more negative side of Lynch, and Jeffrey being the more positive side, isn't the only things we can surmise about Lynch's life through these films. We can also see how his environment, his relationships with others, and the events in his life all came together to shape his ego. As MacLachlan put it earlier, David is so good at taking the issues in his own life and making them a part of his art. Lynch writes not just himself into these characters, but also the problems he faced in his life. This is why there's so many common themes in his works, and why his characters reflect his ego. Henry and Jeffrey are two sides of Lynch's ego, but they are very different characters.